رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه تابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم معلم إبراهيم علمنا، فهم سليمان فهمنا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This verse we left off at باب حق الله على العباد وحق العباد على الله, that the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on his servants and also the rights of the servants on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We gave evidence, series of evidence in that regard, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made his worship obligation on all his servants. And in turn, the servants are also promised reward. Allah has undertaken upon himself to reward all those who worship him in the manner that he has prescribed for them. And we come to a point whereby we are going to read a short hadith that also supports that reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised them when the servants worship him in the manner that he has prescribed for them. So I would like you to start reading from the hadith of Abdullah ibn Masoud. That is page 15. وقال ابن مسعود
بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما جهلنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. قال المؤلف رحمه الله: قال ابن مسعود: من أراد أن ينظر إلى وصية محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم التي عليها خاتمه فليقرأ قوله تعالى: قل تعالوا أتل ما حرم ربكم عليكم ألا تشركوا به شيئا إلى قوله: وأن هذا صراطي مستقيما. قال الشارح: قال ابن مسعود: من أراد أن ينظر إلى وصية محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم التي عليها خاتمه، أي كأنه كتبها وختمها بختمه، فهذه وصية الله، وهي وصية من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Now, okay. So Ibn Masoud is saying that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that what we call wasiyah, the will that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to bequeath to the Ummah is contained in these ayahs. The ayah that is Qul Ta'ala, come, I will show you what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made obligatory upon you. That is, worship none except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this ayah contains what we need to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without associating any partner with him. And if that is done, then there are certain things that we have to follow. Good deeds. And the good deeds come being mentioned in the first place is what? Birru walidain, that we have to be good to our parents. This is very important indeed. We cannot get past that. And then other things that he mentioned, after Birru walidain, we have to abstain from what? Al-Fawahish. We have to abstain from Al-Fawahish, and then we should abstain from what? Murder, the killing without what? Justification. We have to abstain from what? From consuming the legacy of the orphans. And we described and defined what orphan is. And we said an orphan is a person who has lost what? His father while before puberty, he has has lost his father. Now, then also we have to understand that in terms of those good deeds, also we have to what? Respect the covenants that we make among ourselves. We have to fulfill all obligations, fulfill all commitments, because all commitments, what? Trusts are questionable, are asked. You have to return those trusts. Also, you have to what? Be fair in all our dealings. You also have to show that when Rasul gave us this deen, he chalked out a line, he drew a line on the earth and said that this is the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One major word, inscription on the earth and said that this is what, this is the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said that this is the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وخاط خطوطا عن يمين وشماله وقال هذه السبل. These are, and then he drew some lines on his right and the lines on his left, and he said that these are what? These are sects, these are deviations. Now, so if you follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you want to establish the Tawheed, you have to follow his path. And this path, without a doubt, is what? The path of Islam. Now, Islam alone. This what? Makana ali ahli sunnah wal jama'ah. Now, there's one sect, one path that Rasulullah has given us, that's Islam. So if you say that you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to satisfy all these requirements. It's not just to say that I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I say shahada, and then you are involved in what? In wrongdoings. You have to keep these rights. Rights what? All these are rights that we have to fulfill. All these are requirements. All these are part of the obligations attached to what? To the establishment of Tawheed, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, so this is contained in what you can call the legacy of Rasulullah that he has bequeathed to the Ummah. Now, so let's read the second one, the hadith of Mu'adh on page 17. Go ahead.
عن معاذ بن جبل رضي الله عنه قال كنت رديف النبي صلى الله كنت رديف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على حمار فقال لي يا معاذ أتدري ما حق الله على العباد وما حق العباد على الله؟ قلت الله ورسوله أعلم. قال حق الله على العباد أن يعبدوه ولا يشركوا به شيئا وحق العباد على الله ألا يعذب من لا يشرك به شيئا. قلت أفلا أبشر الناس؟ قال لا تبشرهم فيتكلوا. أخرجاه في الصحيحين.
Now, this is a very beautiful hadith. So let us see the explanation of the Shaykh. In the first place, there was Mu'adh bin Jabal, and he was, Rasulullah allowed him to mount together with him on a horse. So the Shaykh is saying that, وفي الحديث أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لأصحابه, Rasulullah has said to his companions, ألا تبايعوني على هذه الآيات, that is, are you not going to pay allegiance to these ayahs? But here is further explanation. Rasulullah, it was reported that Mu'adh has said that kuntu radifa Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam ala imar. I was sitting behind or before Rasulullah on the donkey. So the Shaykh is saying that in this hadith, in the first place, you can find what? Fi atawadu Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The fact that he has allowed a boy to sit with him shows what? The simplicity, the humility of Rasulullah for us all to follow. Now, وحسن خلقه من وجوه كونه راكب على حماره وكون له رديف, riding together with him, and then also with him alone. ومحادثته لمعاذ رديفه بخلاف ما يفعل بعض المتكبرين. This you can't find with those who are arrogant. You find that an arrogant person, sometimes if he's riding, he doesn't want you to join him in riding. Even come to talk about the cars, you want someone, want to get a lift. Sometimes, salam alaikum, want somebody, you ask someone, can I have a lift? Can I ride with you? Sometimes there are people who will accept it. There are some people who say, no, you cannot ride with me because maybe your car is so flashy, it's so sophisticated and that kind of thing. You don't allow these things to happen to you. If you have a table, this table is just for you alone. You don't want anybody to share with you or to join you. Now, these are things that happen to some people, but not with Rasul, and not with people who are following the path of Rasul in terms of humanity. These are some aspects of the hadith. Now, so, وفي إخراج الفائدة وحكم بصيغة السؤال وهذا وقع في قلب السامع ويكون متهيئا ومتحمسا للجواب بخلاف ما لو ذكر الحكم ابتداء فربما لم يتبع وسامع. This is just the beginning introduction to the hadith, just to bring us to attach, give some importance and attention to the hadith. Now, but this is not the hadith, it's just the beginning of the hadith. But Rasulullah mentioned this in order for us to understand that what the hadith means is what but has to be undertaken. In other words, the fact that Rasulullah is going to give a legacy, taken from what? From the ayahs that have been given to us, that we have to worship Allah alone without associating a partner with Him. Now, this has bring us what? Closer to what? Having attention to that legacy. Now, so Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that if we can follow this ayat, then very well, then we shall be in the path to what? Establishing the Tawheed and carrying it out as what? As was revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the previous ayahs. Now, so in this following chapter, we have Babu Fadli Tawheed, وما يكفر به من الذنوب. باب فضل التوحيد وما يكفر به من الذنوب. Now, so we are going to read the next chapter that also deals with what is Tawheed as was prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Read the next one, Babu Fadl Tawheed. Now, so before that chapter, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said to Mu'adh, "Atadri ma haqullahi ala al-ibad? Do you know the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on His servants after getting him on his mount together, riding together? Now He has cleared the way. Do you know the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on His servant? And what the rights of the servants are unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when they follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala obligations. Are they to be rewarded? Qultu, Allah wa rasuluhu alam. Allah and His Prophet, they know. Now, so then the Prophet said to him, Qala haqullah al-ibad, the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on His servant, and yabudu wa la yushriku bihi shay'a, that they should worship Him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without associating a partner with Him. Wa haqul ibad ala Allah an la yu'adhiba man la yushriku bihi shay'a, not to penalize, not to chastise, not to what? Not to punish anyone who will just do that by worshiping Allah and Allah alone without associating partner with Him. So to afala ubashir nas, why then not give the glad tidings to people? Then if that is the case, then I should tell people that this is the situation we have to follow. We have to worship Allah alone, and then Allah is going to reward us without punishing us at all. قال ولا تبشرهم فيتكلوا. Subhanallah, if you get them informed right now, they may be lackadaisical, they may be unenthusiastic, they may not give up their best now, for now. So, this tells us that our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has chalked out from the ayahs that also emphasizing and still stressing the fact that our duty on earth is to worship Allah's mother. But how? Is what? Allah alone, or the requirements of Tawheed without associating any partners with Him. Now, وقالوا صلى الله عليه وسلم Allah wa Rasuluhu alim, this is coming from Muad when the first question. He said that when Allah and His Prophet know, fihi husnu khuluqihi aw khuluqi Muad. It shows how Muad is what? Is respectful, is well mannered. He did not claim any knowledge of what he does not know. And this is a lesson to all of us. Now, you say, I don't know. When we don't know, and attribute all knowledge to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And ask also to reveal to our Rasulullah. Because our Rasulullah also receives revelation, knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, so it is appropriate to say that وَهَذَا هُوَ الْوَاجِبُ أَنْ يَقُولُ لَا أَدْرِي. You could have said, I don't know. Just like that. But he attributed it what? To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, showing how humble he is. أو الله ورسوله أعلم في حال حياتي وبعد وفاتي يقول اللهم أعلم أو لا أدري ولا يقول الله ورسوله أعلم لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يدري ما حدث الناس بعده كما في حديث الحوض حين يقول أصحابي فيقال إنك لا تدري ما حدث الناس بعد. But Shaykh is having an opinion. He said that now, yes, Muad said he doesn't know. He could have said that, but he said Allah, he is attributed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But actually, he did not attribute to our Rasul. That is the Shaykh's opinion. Why? Because our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in actuality, he knows what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to him. Our Rasul, he knows what Allah has revealed to him. Of what if Allah has not revealed to him, he will have said about that. Because there is a hadith in which it was said that our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you mention your companions, your people, your companions, and so on. But you do not know actually what your companions may have done or will do after you. Is it not true that our Rasul in the hadith, he has said that if you, anyone who leaves after you, you will see a lot of differences now. And things happened, you don't know what your companions are going to do after you now, except that which was revealed to Rasulullah. So, oftentimes, when we don't know something, we can say that Allahu Alim. It's more appropriate to say what? Allahu Alim, because He knows everything, what is revealed. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He reveals what is hidden only when he wishes, he wants to. Now, and to specific servants. Now, but when only he wishes. But all knowledge belongs to who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, Babu Fadl Tawheed, Wama, Kafir, Minadunu. Now.
وقول الله تعالى الذين آمنوا ولم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم. قال الشارح أراد المؤلف به.
Now stop there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, الذين آمنوا ولم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم, those who believe and did not mess their what? Their iman. They don't mix it up. They don't contaminate it with what? Al-dhulm. The problem here is trying to understand Al-dhulm. What is Al-dhulm? Under normal circumstances, Al-dhulm is what? It's what? Oppression, wrongdoing. It's Al-dhulm. Injustice, infractions. All these are forms of dhulm. Now, unfairness, inequity, all these are variations of dhulm. But the dhulm here, does it mean any of these? No. Now, al-dhulm here in actuality, it means what? Shirk. It means shirk. Now, so when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُمْ بِظُلْمٍ, it has to have an explanation. So let us see what the explanation is coming from the Shaykh. Now, Ikra.
أراد المؤلف به بيان شيء من فضل التوحيد وأنه أعظم الأعمال في تكفير الذنوب لأنه أساس الأعمال وأصلها والأعمال لا تصح إلا بعد وجوده.
So here again we find that this hadith is an effort to what? To cement, to consolidate, to solidify what? The fact that Tawheed, Tawheed, Tawheed. All actions must be pointed to what? Tawheed. They must be directed toward what? Achieving, establishing, and accomplishing Tawheed. So, because Tawheed is what? Is the best action that we can have now.
وذكر ذلك حتى يعرفه المؤمن ويكون أكثر إقبالا عليه وتشوقا إليه. قال تعالى الذين آمنوا ولم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم أولئك لهم الأمن وهم مهتدون.
So it's a further adding more explanation to the ayah. الذين آمنوا ولم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم أولئك لهم الأمن وهم مهتدون. Those who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do not contaminate their what? Their iman, their faith with dhulm, here with shirk, أولئك لهم الأمن, they shall be granted or rewarded with what? Safety, protection, وهم مهتدون, they shall be also be what? Rightly guided. They shall be what? Rightly guided. Now, so Amanu, what is Amanu? Amanu means what? I wahadullah. They what? They unify, they single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as one. And ifradullah bil ibadah, that is Tawheed here. That is, they single out, establish the fact that Allah alone is just one. Now, وَاعْتَصَمُوا لَهُ وَأَخْلَصُوا لَهُ الْإِبَادَةَ, and then what? Worship Allah in all sincerity. In all sincerity, with a clean heart, purified heart, Allah alone. It points to Allah alone. Now, وَآمَنُوا أَنَّهُ إِلَهُهُمُ الْحَقِّ, and also believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only true Allah, that is a true God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they have. وَلَهُ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَلْبِسُوا ذِكْرًا
لم يلبسوا أم لم يخلقوا.
نعم. أو
إيمانهم توحيدهم بظلم شرك بل أخلصوا له العبادة سبحانه لهم الأمن أي الأمن الكامل والهداية الكاملة.
ولم يلبسوا here, it means what? That you have said already, they did not what? Mix up. from khalat yakhlutu, yani they did not mix up their faith what with any forms of shirk. Now, of course, Tawheed, their faith here, it means their Tawheed that they have in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The blooming here, as we have said before, is what shirk. The Shaykh also says it is shirk. Now, subhana, but the what? The sort of made their actions in all sincerity as worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, lahum al-amn.
أي الأمن الكامل والهداية الكاملة.
That is al-amn al-kamil, that is a perfect and complete and total safety and protection. Wal-hidayah al-kamila, also perfect and total and complete what? Guidance. They shall be compensated or rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِذَا كَانَ إِيمَانُهُمْ سَلِمًا, if they are what? If their faith is what? Is solid, is sound. مِنَ الظُّلْمِ كُلِهِ دِقِهِ وَجِهِلِهِ. Now, so if it doesn't matter whether they are dhulm or injustice or inequity or corruption is huge or little or minute, it doesn't matter at all, so long as they purify their actions and then they do well to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all sincerity. Now,
من الشرك وما دونه من المعاصي وظلم العباد. لما نزلت هذه الآية شق ذلك على أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
When this ayah actually was revealed, it really weighed very hard on the Sahaba. Subhanallah, as we had said before, that how can anyone who is involved in zulm that they knew, like corruption, oppression, wrongdoing, how can they be what? Saved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can they be saved? Because there's no way out to them. There's no way out. Because there's no way anybody can be exonerated, can be rescued, salvaged, because like I said, we all are prone to what? Committing a form of zulm. So there has to be an explanation. And what is the explanation?
شق ذلك من أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وجاءوا إليه وقالوا إيانا لم يظلم نفسه ظنوا أنه أراد جنس الظلم أي جنس المعاصي. قال لم تسمعوا قول العبد الصالح إن الشرك لظلم عظيم.
So all these points to the fact that now, don't worry, don't kill yourselves literally, but what? This does not mean what? Actions, wrongful actions, or oppression or corruption. It means what? Shirk, that's it, period. Remember when Luqman said to his son, Inna shirka, that's Malvin. So they know that he's giving advice and admonishment to his child. You have to know that the shirk is what? It's a big what? It's a huge sin. It's a huge sin. So the shirk here is what? What is meant by what? Al-Zulm here. So then it brought solace and then peace to their hearts. Now, so yes, this tells us what do we take from this? That al-shirk is what? Number one infraction, number one sin, astaghfirullahalazim, when one commits it, will not be forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a direct challenge to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah does not just accept it. He cannot, and by no means be tolerated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what this means.
فالمراد من الظلم هنا الشرك بخلاف المشرك فلا أمن له بل إلى النار. والمؤمن إذا سلم من الشرك الأكبر والأصغر وظلم العباد فله الهداية الكاملة الأمن التام في الدنيا والآخرة. أما إذا سلم من الشرك الأكبر ولم يسلموا من الأصغر ومن بعض الذنوب، فهدايته ليست كاملة وأمنه ليس كاملا، بل ربما يدخل النار بالمعاصي التي مات عليها. وفي شرح الآية بين الرسول أن الهداية والأمن المطلقين لا يحصلان لا يحصلان إلا بترك الشرك، لكن دلت النصوص الأخرى أن الهداية لا تكمل والأمن لا يكمل إلا بالسلامة من المعاصي وذنوب العبادة وسائر أنواع الشرك الأصغر.
Now, in a nutshell, so any action that is accompanied by some vestiges of shirk, that action is not nullified, or every action now. And the guidance can only be attained by anyone who performs actions that are free from any form of shirk. Now, it is only then that they can have what? Entirety of guidance and then mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Other than that, we cannot be committing infractions and then say that we have what? Tawheed. Because the Tawheed must be what? Must be judged also by what? Or accompanied by good deeds, abstinence from wrongdoing, and then embarkment of what? And carrying out of what? Of good deeds. This is what gives credence and sincerity to one's faith or one's Tawheed. So now we cannot say that we say we have Tawheed, we have La ilaha illallah, and then falling into what? Into wrongdoing. Now, this is the nutshell of the. So we have to be careful. Once we see that we have Tawheed, we have to also should know that we should be the ambassadors of what? Tawheed. Very good deeds, good actions, it might show in our actions. Then it could be said that this Tawheed can be helpful to us. Now, in Hadith was Ubadah bin Samit.
عن عبادة بن صامت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: من شهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله وأن عيسى عبد الله ورسوله وكلمته ألقاها إلى مريم وروح منه والجنة حق والنار حق أدخله الله الجنة على ما كان من العمل.
Yes, another hadith, alhamdulillah, from Ubadah bin Samit قال, he has said that قال رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم, Rasul had said that Man shahida an la ilaha illallah. I would like to make an la ilaha illallah now. Doesn't matter. Man shahida an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Anyone who bears witness, who testifies that there's no deity but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He alone, and there's no partner with Him. He has said that. Wa anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh, and that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is messenger and servant. One Isa abduhu wa rasuluh, and Isa is also what? Is messenger and then servant and messenger. Others say slave. Others say what? Abdu. They say it's servant. They say it's slave. Both goes. Both go. Either way goes. You can say servant or slave. Now, wa rasul and the messenger. وَكَلِمَتُهُ أَلْقَاهَا إِلَى مَرْيَمَ, and his word, he gave it to Maryam sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is kun fayakun. No, kalimatu alqa ila Maryam. He gave it through what? Maryam alayhi salam or alayha salam, wa ruhu minhu, and a spirit from him. Now, through that, Allah is talking about the creation of Nabiullah Isa. It was a word from Allah that was in the form of spirit, blown by the Malaka Jibril into what? Into Maryam, and then Maryam was conceived, and then Nabiullah Isa was born. Now, that's Waruhum minhu. Wal Jannah, one al Jannata, al Jannah meaning one al Jannata haq, and also al Jannah is true. There's such thing known as what? Al Jannah. It is not a mirage, it is a reality. وَالنَّارُ حَقٌّ بِمَعنَى وَأَنَّ النَّارَ حَقٌّ, that is fire. or Jahannam is also true. Adkhalahu Allahu Jannah. Anyone who believes this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will what? Will let him enter into what? Or admit him into what? The Jannah. Ala ma kana min amali. Ala ma kana min al-amal. According to what? He has worked. But what? Work that is what? Attached and connected to what? Tawheed. No, let's see explanation. حديث بعد السؤال.
قال الشارح رحمه الله حديث عبادة بن صامت مرفوعا من شهد أن لا إله إلا الله أدخله الجنة روح من أي روح من الأرواح التي خلقها وأوجدها.
So what is ruh? No, there should be no doubt about that. He's saying that ruh, the spirit of the spirits that are created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's part of the what? Creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Naam. فَمَنْ شَهِدَ هَذِهِ شَهَادَةً. Anyone who believes this, naam. صادقا أدخله الله سبحانه وتعالى الجنة. Allah سبحانه وتعالى will what? Admit me into الجنة. وهذا من الحديث المطلقة الدالة على فضل التوحيد. These are, watch out very careful, these are plain, unrestricted hadiths that what? That emphasize, underscore, or establish what? The essence of what? Of Tawheed. Now, continue. ولكن دلت النصوص
ولكن دلت النصوص على أن هذا الإطلاق مقيد بمن أدى حق هذه الشهادة شهد شهادة.
So ولكن النصوص على أن هذا الإطلاق مقيد. There are some other texts, other hadith that shows that this general hadith is limited, is conditioned. Now, because the reason is this is very important. Now, on the normal section of this hadith will tell you that anybody who believes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes kalima shahada, now then he's a Muslim, alhamdulillah, he is going to Al-Jannah. But it is not as simplistic as we see. Now, it's not as simplistic. Now, because so somebody says, La ilaha illallah, that's it. He's going to Al-Jannah. Or without even making salah, go and committing sin and then go involved in gambling, that kind of thing. All of these, to do all of these infractions, you are on fentanyl, styros, all that kind of thing, opioids. And then you are going to Al-Jannah because you say kalima shahada. So this hadith, this generalized hadith, it is true, but there are some conditions. So here's a condition. Muqayyad. مقيد بمن what أدى حق هذه الشهادة, to anyone who give what credence to this shahada. How? We don't know, but let us listen to what the Shari. What did he say? Shahada? No.
شهد شهادة جازمة بذلك تتضمن إخلاص العبادة له وحده عن الصدق عن صدق وانقياد ومحبة قبول وإخلاص ومتابعة لنبيه صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Naam. So these are beautiful conditions. Beautiful conditions pertaining to this Tawheed. It has to be what? Shahad jazimatan. Well intended. Clear cut. تتضمن إخلاص العبادة. That shows sincerity of the ibadah. All these conditions are involved. That it is based upon truth and then submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wa mahabba, and then love, wa qabul, and then acceptance without coercion or compulsion, under no duress. Naam. Wa ikhlas, further sincerity. Naam. Mutaba'atu Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mutaba' and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is, and following what? According to what? The example or the sunnah of our Rasul. All these are conditions. Now, so So the hadith that has been generalized are now being conditioned in this hadith. So watch out, worshippers, that our understanding of La ilaha illallah, if you say we are going to Al-Jannah, it's not just a done deal. A done deal. If it is not what attached and accompanied and associated and linked with what? With all these conditions. No.
وطاعته فمن شهدها ولقحها بالمعاصي والسيئات أو قالها باللسان فقط هو يشرك قلبه أو عمله كالمنافقين هذه لا تنفعه الشهادة.
نعم فمن شهدها ولقحها بالمعاصي والسيئات أو قالها بلسان فقط, anyone, because of that, anyone who says La ilaha illallah, subhanallah, and then what? And then paint it with, or wraps it up with, or pollutes it with what? Sins, infractions, wrongdoings, or says bilisan or qala bilisan faqat, or just says with his tongue La ilaha illallah, and that's not sufficient. Now, وَهُوَ يُشْرِكُ بِقَلْبِهِ, and at the same time is what? Is committing an act of shirk with his heart. His heart is committing shirk. Hearts can't commit shirk. Your heart, it can commit shirk. Meaning you do not wholeheartedly believe in La ilaha illallah. You just say it with your word, with your tongue. That is not accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَوْ عَمَلَهُ كَالْمُنَافِقِينَ, or what? He says it what? Just as the what? Hypocrites do. A hypocrite, that is his trademark. The stock in trade of the hypocrite is that he says with his tongue that which is not in his heart, and the vice versa. فَهَذِهِ لَا تَنْفَعُهُ الشَّهَادَةِ. This does not benefit from what? The shahada. So that the shahada La ilaha does not benefit such a situation. Now, you are saying La ilaha, but your heart is full of hypocrisy? No. Allah does not want that. بَلْ لَا بُدَّ مِنْ قَوْلِهَا وَالْجَزْمِ بِهَا. You have to say it, what? With the utmost conviction. Now, وَالْعَمَلْ بِالْأَوَامِرِ, and then work with what? Carry out the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَتَرْكْ النَّوَاهِ, and to avoid and shun and abstain from all infractions and wrongdoings, وَاتِّبَاعِ النَّبِي sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also we should embark upon what? Following the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَإِلَّا, if not, if this does not happen in the manner described, فَتَكُونَ شَهَادَةُ مَدْخُولَةً لا تقوى على دخول صاحبها الجنة إلا بمشيئة. If that's happened, if somebody commits, he says La ilaha, is committing, she is doing wrong, doing all that kind of things. Now, this is not acceptable. This type of La ilaha does not help anyone who says it what? To reap any benefit from the La ilaha. It does not help him from what? From not going to Al-Jannah. It does not help his Al-Jannah effort. Now, because we say this, La ilaha, in order to what? Enable us to go to Al-Jannah. But it's not going to happen because what? You are totally immersed and engaged in what? In all these infractions. So yeah, we say La ilaha, in all sincerity, we avoid wrongdoing, alhamdulillah. Then we stand in a good stead of what? Receiving or being the true and the proud recipients of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is Al-Jannah. Now, here you are. Yes. Why, if you don't abstain from what? Wrongdoing. Now. So yeah, it can be against you or for you. Now, so the stumbling block is what? actions, your actions. No. So la ilaha alone without actions not sufficient. To what? To entitle you what? To enter into Jannah. Now, illa bi Mashiach, this is very important clause. Shaykh is saying that illa bi Mashiatillah, except with the what? With the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanallah. In principle, no. But at the end of the day, Allah is Allah. Allah is most merciful. Al-Ghafar, you name it. The attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can have a bearing. But do we know when the attributes, the mercy of Allah is going to have a bearing on this? Do we know? No, we don't know. Now, so we have to work with what we know that will happen. Because La ilaha illallah said hypocritically without full sincere conviction is not good. It's not beneficial. Unless, of course, the mercy of Allah comes in. And do we know, are we guaranteed when the mercy of Allah is going to come? We don't know. So what should be our watchword? Our watchword, our goal should be what? To bring La ilaha illallah and act upon it, free from what? Free from more infractions that might nullify this La ilaha illallah.
قوله على ما كان من العمل، أي على ما كان عنده من صلاح وفساد، من إذا قالها من إخلاص وإيمان. ولكن هذا الدخول قد يكون من أول وهلة، يدخل ابتداء إذا مات على توبة وعمل صالح وصدق، وقد يكون بعدما يبتلى به من جزاء السيئات والمعاصي، وبعدما يمحس في النار ويعذب.
Now. So it is just a continuation that because of that, there are those who will lose when they satisfy the conditions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the very first instant. From the word go, they will be granted Al-Jannah. Now, at the first instance, after judgment, they are going to Al-Jannah without any delay. Now, those who do not do La ilaha illallah, does not live by La ilaha illallah, as described by Rasulullah, detached from the conditions of La ilaha illallah, they may not go to Al-Jannah at the first stretch. You have a group, first class. No. First class, free, they are going to Al-Jannah. Other classes, they have to wait. The waiting period is unknown. And the place to wait is where? Is where? It's Nar. So they will have to be admitted to Nar first. They will spend some time in fire. Subhanallah. They have said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but that does not what prevent them from what? Going to the fire. They went to the fire first, and at the mercy of Allah, at some point, anyhow, because they still have some fraction of La ilaha illallah, Allah will take them out of the what? Out of the fire. But when? Do we know? Who would not like to enter into Al-Jannah at the first instance? Everybody now. But how do you get there? La ilaha with what? Is contaminating or it's accompanying what? It's attached, associated what? Actions. That must be free from what? Shirk. That must be free from shirk. That must be free from shirk. So it is not just, we have to be careful. When we say La ilaha, anybody who says La ilaha, it's very important. Anybody who says La ilaha is going to Al-Jannah. Anybody who says La ilaha, people are saying that because the hadith has said that. But this hadith has been said in what? General terms. Now, there are hadiths also what? That check or pin this or cut the tail or the wings of this general hadith. It discipline these hadiths. So instead of everyone who says it, no. Another hadith said that everyone who says it while refraining from what? From wrongdoing. Now, so that has to be complete. So we can now reword it and say that anyone who says La ilaha illallah and refraining from all forms of shirk, and at the same time refraining from what? Wrongdoings, sinful acts, then he will go to Al-Jannah, inshallah, at the first instant. Now, other than that, we shall waste some time or be delayed, astaghfirullah, may Allah forbid, in fire first. Now, so this is the truth. Now, so this is the essence of what? Saying La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu. There's no deity but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the manner prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then abstaining from all forms of shirk and then major infractions that might hinder our progress into what? Al-Jannah. May Allah make it easy on us.
ويعذب فيها
What class? Okay.
قال المؤلف لهما في حديث عتبان فإن الله حرم على النار من قال لا إله إلا الله يبتغى بذلك وجه الله.
Yes, another hadith. It says that hadith عتبان فإن الله حرم على النار من قال لا إله إلا الله يبتغي بذلك وجهه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden unto fire anyone who says La ilaha illallah seeking the what? The countenance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is also generalized. It's another hadith. So alhamdulillah, Shaykh Kitab Tawheed is bringing some hadiths that are said in general forms, showing the fadl, the virtue of La ilaha illallah. But again, we are being warned that there are some specifications, there are some restrictions, that our conditions that must be borne. And this one such hadith also. That is, anyone who says La ilaha illallah or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made forbidding unto fire. It has warned fire. Fire, do not touch anyone who says La ilaha illallah. Fire, do not touch anyone who says La ilaha illallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does that mean? Ikra.
قال الشارح ولهما من حديث عتبان فإن الله حرم على النار من قال لا إله إلا الله يبتغى بذلك وجه الله أي من قالها عن صدق ومات عليها أدخله الله الجنة فإن كانت له ذنوب فهو تحت المشيئة إن لم يتب من ذنوبه كما تقدم.
Now, so he's saying that what does this hadith mean? Man qalaha min sidqin. Anyone who says this La ilaha in all sincerity, in truthfulness, وَمَاتَ عَلَيْهَا, and then passes on that, أَدْخَلَهُ اللَّهُ الْجَنَّةِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will let me enter into Al-Jannah, will admit me into Al-Jannah. فَإِنْ كَانَتْ لَهُ ذُنُوبٌ. But if he has some znub, that is sins, فَهُوَ تَحْتَ الْمَشِيَةِ. Then he is under the mercy or the what? The will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is profound. So if he says the La ilaha illallah in truth, he's going to Al-Jannah. But if that is not the case, then if Allah wills, this is the clause. If Allah wills, then he will go to Al-Jannah. Other than that, opposite is the case. In lam yatub min dhunubi kama taqaddam. That is, if he does not repent from his sins because he was wrapped up in sins, he was engaged in a number of sins, as the Shaykh has said before. Now, then everything depends upon what? Or it's left to what? To the permission and will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah places, there is a judgment, that is the prerogative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the territory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, ومن
قالها مخلصا وصادقا فإنه لا يصر على السيئات لأن إيمانه وإخلاصه الكامل يدرعه عن الاستمرار والإصرار على المعاصي فيدخل الجنة ابتداء مع أول الداخلين.
Now, just as it's just giving further explanation because they are nearly the same because all these are general hadiths and they mean nearly the same thing. So it goes on further to say that وَمَنْ قَالَهَا مُخْلِصًا صَادِقًا, anyone who says La ilaha illallah in all sincerity, in all truthfulness, فَإِنَّهُ لَا يُصِرُّ عَلَى سَيِّئَاتٍ, and then he does not what? Persist in wrongdoing. Now, لأن إيمانه وإخلاصه الكامل, because his faith and his faith is very sincere faith and complete faith, يرضعه عن الاستمرار والإصرار على المعاصي. That prevents him from what? From continuing, pursuing, continue to commit sins. Now, this is profound also because when anyone actually says La ilaha illallah in the manner prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's accepted, true, sincere La ilaha illallah, Tawheed, this statement, this position alone prevents him from continuing to be persistent in pursuit of wrongdoing. It, like Allah says, Inna salata tenha anil fahsha. It's the same thing. Allah says in the Quran, Inna salata tenha anil fahsha. The salah that you perform prevents you from committing wrongdoing, fawahish, obscenities and so forth and so on, depravities and so forth and so on. Similarly, La ilaha illallah said or once said in truthfulness and sincerity, in the first place, it prevents you from what? Being persistent in wrongdoing. It's rare. That's what people may commit sins, but to persist and continue in the wrongdoing, that is no. That is no. And it is La ilaha illallah that will prevent you from doing that. But if you say La ilaha illallah and you have a flair to commit further crime, to persist in it, that is not accepted. And that cannot give you the benefit of what? It will not give you the benefit of La ilaha illallah. Is it not true that there are some people, may Allah forbid, you might say it is addiction. Someone commits an act of drinking or drugs, for example, and then he said, I've stopped. Next moment is continue until maybe he becomes addicted. It's what called al-israr fi sayyi'at. Yeah, what you see. Well, Allah says in the Quran, Wallah yusirun. Surah Imran. Now, that's right. Allah will give you so long as what? Wallam yusiru alayhi ma fa'alu. And you know what? You don't persist in what? In that wrongdoing. So here is the same Israr. Israr means what? To consist, keep doing it as one addicted. Now, so it's a form of addiction. This type of wrongdoing, showing flair, persistence, and continuity in wrongdoing, is not also helpful in what? In the declaration, so-called declaration of La ilaha illallah, because it has not been sincere. If it had been sincere and truthful in the first place, you would have been prevented from what? From falling into those infractions. Now, Aywa. Thank you. A mockery. You are making a mockery of what? The Tawheed of La ilaha illallah. La ilaha. You are making a mockery. It's a mockery, like a joke. Do we joke with Allah? Subhanallah, Allah is above that. Now, exactly what happens. فَيَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ إِبْتِدَاءً مَا أَوَّلِ دَاخِلٍ. Now, so if his Tawheed is sincere, is based upon the solid foundation of sincerity, that is ikhlas, and then truthfulness and sidq, then inshallah, will be among those who will first enter into Al-Jannah at the word go. At the blast of the word go, they are just in Al-Jannah. They have been admitted because their Tawheed is flawless. Now, you can call it flawless Tawheed. Now, not Tawheed that is contaminated with the contaminants of shirk. May Allah forbid. In Allah like this because Allah says, وَدَلِيلَ عَلَى ذَلِكَ وَدَلِيلَ عَلَى أَنَّ مَنْ مَاتَ عَلَى الْمَعَاصِي فَهُوَ تَحْتَ الْمَشِيَّةِ قَوْلُ تَعَالَى. The delay to show that anyone who dies, he says La ilaha illallah, so-called he says La ilaha illallah, but at the same time he is wrapped up, he is involved, engaged in committing sins, and that his case is left to the will and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here is the hadith. Here is the ayah. Allah says in that sense. In Allah, Iqra.
إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء.
So he said that in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, la yaghfiru an yushraka bihi. Allah doesn't forgive if you commit shirk against him or with him. But other than shirk, Allah forgives. Subhanallah, in Allah, la yaghfiru an yushraka bihi. Allah does not forgive when one commits shirk against him, associating a partner with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But other than that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives. This says that when we say La ilaha based upon sincerity and then truthfulness without committing persistent infractions and wrongdoings, that is La ilaha, we are fine. But if that La ilaha subhanahu wa ta'ala is not free from shirk, if that Tawheed is not free from shirk, then what happens is that we are doomed. And the situation will be left with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't know. Only Allah knows. But no one in his right mind, in his best wishes, will like to have his faith hanging in the balance in uncertain terms. Because uncertainties are torture. Uncertainties are torture. If you don't know what is going to happen, anticipation, you have sense of what is going to happen to me. You are in danger. What is going to be the end? Maybe you are in the hold up. You don't know what's going to come after that. Living in that suspense brings torture to your mind. True of us. Well, if that is true, it's exactly what is happening here. So we have to cleanse our Tawheed from what? All the contaminations of what? Of shirk. Now, that's why shirk is so important. And so that's why Tawheed is very important. Now, others may say, I believe I have a Tawheed, that kind of thing. Now, people may say that we believe in that small, but at the same time, they are committing acts of shirk. So shirk is this tells how important is our Tawheed. We have to guard very jealously of our Tawheed. We have to guard our Tawheed very, very jealously. We have to guard our Tawheed very, very what? Jealously. Now,
ودلت الأحاديث أن أهل المعاصي معروضون للوعيد ومعرضون للوعيد وأنهم يدخلون النار ثم يخرجون بشفاعة الأنبياء وغيرهم لأنهم قد أضعفوا توحيدهم ولطحوه بالمعاصي. هذه هو منهج أهل السنة والجماعة، وهي المعنى الصحيح الذي خلى عنه أهل البدع من الخوارج والمعتزلة والمرجعة وغيرهم.
وكفر بالله.
ومن كفر بالله فإن الشهادة لا تنفعه وإن شهدها.
Now, this is a nutshell of what you have said earlier on. That is, so when people commit acts of wrongdoing, acts of shirk against La ilaha illallah. Anyone who dies in that state as a Muslim, he's a Muslim, but his La ilaha illallah is not solid, it's not clean, it's not sincere. What made it insincere? Because he was involved in wrongdoing. Wrongdoing has become part and parcel of his life. Addicted to wrongdoing, even though he has made the declaration of La ilaha illallah. At the end of the day, after death, after Qiyamah, after judgment, he will be landed. May Allah forbid, he will be landed in what? In hell. But the Shaykh is saying that he will not live in the hell forever. His hell is not everlasting. At one point, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can get him out of the hell. But not until he has dwelt in the hell for what? For as long as you can imagine, even beyond your imagination. Let's take it for example. Allah has destined this person to spend just because he was normally a good person, but he may commit some infractions that Allah wants to penalize him. And for that matter, his bad deeds outweigh the good deeds. That may not prevent him from going to hell. He'll go to the hell. La samah Allah. Maybe Allah has chosen maybe a day in hell. And a day in hell, Shaykh Isa says, he's laughing. You cannot handle a day in hell? He says, no. Just a day. I know I cannot handle a day in hell. She cannot? Oh, no one. Because a day in hell is equivalent to, Shaykh Abraham, a day in hell is equivalent to what? Well, you قال في سنة قال في سنة ما تودو okay قال في سنة because a day in hell is equivalent to 1,000 years. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Shh, you say shh, is it? So nobody would like to spend even why the mathematicians to computerize a second minutes too much. A second will be equivalent to professor, mathematicians. Come on, computers. Why are they? A microsecond. That equivalent to what? Huge. So what do you make of this? No one should afford to go to hell. When Quran is talking about hell, say Subhanallah, Allah, don't get us in hell. Not at all. But when you look at this ayah in Surah Maryam, وَمِنْكُمْ إِلَّا وَاحِدُهَا كَانَ عَلَى رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا. Anyway, all of us, we shall pass over hell, anyway, over the Sirat. And those destined to hell will be falling into it, right? May Allah forbid. So it is, oh, wow, it is very difficult situation. Nobody would like to what? Get into the hellfire. Now, so the other thing that can get you out of it is what? Is what? Tawheed. Very good, sincere Tawheed. Very good. Even if your good deeds are not enough, but they do not what? Fall short of your bad deeds. If you can, let's just do this. If you can establish true and sincere Tawheed, but your good deeds are not that many, make sure that your bad deeds are much less. If you don't commit, make sure that you avoid bad deeds first. Now, so Umar bin Khattab, according to Umar bin Khattab in some sources, when it was asked that people فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. It says this is the most fearsome what? Ayah to him in the Quran, to him. And also to avoid wrongdoing to him must take priority over what? Doing good deeds. Okay. Suppose try to pile up good deeds, do deeds, and then as opposed to what? Piling up or trying to abstain from bad deeds. You have good deeds and then bad deeds. You do as much as can to what? To avoid bad deeds, right? And you do as much you can to what? To do good deeds. What area, which of the two will you give it priority with the two? Are you keen in doing more good deeds and not caring to avoid bad deeds? Is your priority? It's about this. Now, he feels that doing your best to avoid bad deeds must take the driver's seat. Because the more you avoid bad deeds, even if your good deeds are not that many, they cannot crush what? La ilaha illallah. Because if your bad deeds are many, your chances of being accepted are slim. But if you avoid that many bad deeds, you have a good chance. Because you have good chance, even if your good deeds are more. But on the other hand, your abstinence from bad deeds are very overwhelming. So it is even safer for you. Now, here you are, and then a crime is committed. A crime is committed in a place. Now, in a station. And the police comes, and then he surrounds, he arrests, he comes to the station, and then he arrests everyone in the station, in the place where the crime was committed. Now, somebody might say that, oh, maybe it's not part of the crime, maybe he didn't commit the crime. But do you think that the policeman will listen to him? What will happen? He will take all those present at the crime place to where? To maybe jail in the first place, without exonerating what? Anyone. But in the first place, before the investigations take place, you would have landed in the jail already, because you were present at the what? The crime scene. So, what we are saying is that don't afford to be at the crime scene. That is doing the wrongdoing. Once you are doing the wrongdoing, you are doing the wrong acts, you are presenting yourself, you are putting yourself in the crime scene. You don't want to be there. So you are safe. That is the relation between these are the sins that we commit. So we don't commit sins, you are free. You are not called to what? Judgment. You are not being called to judgment, because no, you are not there. Nobody can come and tell you, no, you were here. No, you were not there. Because you were not there when the crime was committed in the first place. No, but if you were there, some of the crime, the effects of the crime will affect you. That is what? Being in jail. Because the arrests, you are all arrested. Before you begin to present your case, you are even tortured even. So you don't want to be tortured, you want to be safe, avoid all forms of crimes, inshallah, to your limited ability, capacities, and then try to do some good deeds, inshallah. But that not not when what you are involved, very much involved in the wrongdoing. May Allah make it easy on all of us. But it has the baqiya, inshallah. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina wa ala alihi wa sahbihi.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا